For this demonstration, I'm going to show you how I made this pretty little pendant with the beautiful Amazonite dangling on it. But what I want to show you is how I joined together two pieces of copper to make this little bowl that the Amazonite is sitting in. I'm not sure whether you'll have seen this before, but the little rivet, if that's what you want to call it, is actually, see if I can put my hand behind those, is actually a crimp tube. Now, crimp tubes come in several different sizes. I've got a crimp tube here that is 2 by 2, and that's what these are too. Maybe you can see them better on there. It's because they're in the bag, they're reflecting. Yeah, so they are all 2 by 2. Because I wanted to show you how to do the riveting, if we're going to call it that, I've cut out some of the simpler stages so that I could concentrate on joining the two pieces of metal together. So what I've done is I have cut out with a disc cutter 2 pieces of copper. These are 0.4. Excuse me, and I've drilled holes in them as well. Now for drilling holes, we need a 2mm hole for the 2mm crimp tube. Now obviously if you're using a different size crimp tube, then you'll need to adjust the size of the hole, but it does need to be quite a nice tight hole. Now I've used this jewelry maker punch. That's better. So I've used the 2mm size. Now you can use a drill, you can use a Dremel, bench drill, anything that you've got, or a hand punch, anything you've got that will make a 2mm hole. So I'm going to put that to one side because I've already made the holes. Now once you've made the holes, you will find that you've got burrs on the back. So what you need to do before we start is file those off and make sure that those are nice and smooth on both of them, on this one as well. So they're all nice and smooth and ready to go. Now I'm just going to take these off and I'll tell you what I'm using as I go along. It'll make more sense that way, I think. So let's hang on, we seem to have lost our Amazonite on that. There we go. So the Amazonite I think looks absolutely beautiful against the copper. So what I've done here is I have taken a hammer and I have textured the larger one of the two. And what I'm going to do is show you how I did it. I'm using the Whammer hammer. You can use whatever hammer you like. So I'm going to just texture this one so we can see where we're going. So when you're texturing, try and texture one piece at a time. Try not to go all round higgledy-piggledy. Try and stay in one place or very close confines. There we are. So I've done the top there. So now I'm going to move, but concentrate on one space at a time. There we are. So that's got that nicely textured. What I want to do is flatten that. Now I thought I'd bought my mallet. There we go. I've got the rawhide mallet. So I'm going to just move that out of the way. So I'm going to flatten that and flatten that. So what we've got next is, actually let me explain to you first how I did the drilling. So I put a drill hole at the top for the jump ring, the top jump ring to go through. and then I found the centre and drilled a hole in the centre. Now the way I wanted mine to lie was I wanted mine to lie so that the bottom of the inner circle was level with the bottom of the larger disc, like that. So what I did was put those on top of each other, line them up how I wanted them. I actually, to be fair, I did it in my hands. Line those up where you want them, turn them over, and then with a Sharpie mark where you want the other hole to go, and then you can make your hole so that they correspond. So when I've joined those together, they will look beautiful and they will match up around the bottom, which is exactly what I wanted. Now to make the rivet, what I've got here is, let me just bring this over and show you. I've got an old credit card that I have punched a 2mm hole in. Let me see if I can put that on top. No, I need it on the block. So hope you can see, because they're very tiny 2x2. And then I put the old credit card on top of the rivet. Now what I did, there's two ways, well there's obviously more ways of doing this if you want to, but the two ways I use is either you pop a centre punch on top of there and give that a little whack with the hammer, very, very gently and a little bit of it at a time. So you're going directly down on top of that tube. The other way you can do it is by using a little dapping punch, which you again pop that on top and very gently flare that out. Now I'm going to put that on one side. If I can do it without dropping it. There we go. So I flared one side so that you didn't have to watch me going through the whole thing, because it is a little bit time consuming and a little bit repetitive. So what I'm going to do is get my little crimp tube, pop it on there, pop it in. So what happens is that the credit card, because it's got a hole in, it allows you to control it more. Trying to hold a little 2x2mm crimp bead is pretty much impossible, but if you drop it in the hole in there, you can see that it does actually steady it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is pop this on top of there, get my rawhide mallet, you probably won't be able to see much because I've got to go directly over the top of this. There we go. Whoops, come on. There we go. Oops. It's like one of those games at the fair, trying to get it in the hole. Because I'm trying to show you, it's actually hopping about all over the place. So what I'm going to do is hit down directly onto that, but I'm going to do it very, very gently and a little bit at a time. And I tell you what, it'll remind you of, if you've done spinner rings, it's like flaring out a spinner ring. So we need to keep on, make sure it's upright, and just keep tapping away until you can pick it up with your, in fact I'll show you this as well. This is a centre punch. You can actually also do it by popping a centre punch on the top and doing it with that. So it does have the same effect. So basically use what tools you've got to hand. A lot of these things you don't need to go out and buy a load of extra tools. You've probably already got them. We've sold these punches quite often, and I'm using the smallest one in the set. Now what you want to do is, I've made that a little bit wobbly now, showing you different ways of doing it. What you want to do is carry on until it's flared enough that it holds into your the hole in your credit card. So I've got one here that I did earlier that I'm going to pop on there. I'm going to show you what I did next. So you can probably see where I'm going with this. So next, you need to pop your larger piece on. Like I say, the tighter the fit, the better. And that fitted really nice and snug. And then we pop on our other one, like that. Now make sure you've got it level where you want it. If you're doing a circle and you're doing it in the centre, that's not so important because it's going to stay the same. But what we're going to do is just tap this down. Let's try with this. Was bound to happen this because I was showing you. There we go. There we go. Let me just pick that up and show you. Now everything's held in place there with that little, who would think you could do with this with a crimp bead. It's sterling silver, by the way, so you have got all copper and sterling silver in this piece. Now what we need to do is get our hammer. Now you can use a riveting hammer, you can use a ball peen hammer. I'm going to use my wham hammer because I do use that for most things. And what you do is you hold that and you just tap around the edges, spreading it out and leveling it up. So try not to hit. Once you get in so far, you can hit it a bit more. And we'll do the same on the back. Then you can use the other side if you wish. There we go. Done. How to rivet two pieces of copper together. Now it doesn't have to be round, it can be oblong. I did think actually that it would be nice with an oblong piece if you textured the back and then a smaller oblong piece on the top and rivet it top and bottom and keep the top one plain. You could then patina the back and let it stand out, but that's okay for now. I'm happy with that. It's really lovely. So let's bring in now, this is the doming block out of the set that I had the stamp out of, and I'm going to pop it into one of the bigger rounds, and I'm going to take this is actually the biggest one out of the set, and I'm going to, whoops, just going to dome this piece. Unusually, my piece that I'm working on is one of the best ones I've done, I think, and that doesn't normally work out. When you come to do your demonstration, you're rushing to show people how to do it in a limited amount of time. But yeah, this is I'm really happy with this. So there we go. So we've now got a domed piece for the pendant, or even, wouldn't that make a lovely pair of earrings as well? and as I say, it goes so well with the Amazonite. So I'm going to take that out of the way now, and I'm going to bring in another piece. I'm going to put that on one side and show you what I did next. I've got another one here. So I took the two pieces, and I didn't want to colour them both. I didn't want to patina them both. I wanted the middle one to stand out. If you can see, it stands out from the back one. So what I did was I painted on. I got a really fine little paintbrush, and I painted on the patina like that. I've let it dry, and then what I did was take a little sanding sponge sorry, and just take the thick of it off, or actually however much you want. You could leave it like that if you wanted to. So actually this part is very much a design feature, and very much for you to decide how you'd like it to look. It looks actually quite nice with the black rim around the shiny center, but I always like the edges nice and shiny. That's just my thing. Even if it's patinas, I still like these edges nice and shiny, because I think it makes it look a very well finished piece when you've done that. So there we go. So we've done all that. What I did next, I can put that on one side. Actually, to be fair, I did go on and polish mine after I'd taken the patina, as much patina off as I wanted. I then went on to polish it, as you would normally if you use a Dremel, your normal brushes and polishing compounds, whichever it is you use. So we now end up with, I've put 2 pieces of wax cord through mine because I wanted a sort of boho look to this one. So then all you need to do is put a loop onto, this isn't even a wrapped loop, it's just a simple loop on top of the gorgeous Amazonite, and hooked on to the jump ring that I've got there to fasten on the wax cord. So that's the way I used a simple crimp bead or crimp tube to make a rivet. Now what you can also do, and this looks a bit basic, I do have to say, this is a practice piece of mine. Now if you can have a look at this, this is the one we're looking at, the riveting hair. Now as you see, that's not got a hole in it, it's not silver either, and it's lovely and smooth on the back as well. So what I did with that was exactly the same, but I did it with 2mm wire. So then you get a solid rivet, not a tube rivet, but that is exactly the same, and it's just as simple, and you just tap it down until you've got both pieces secure. And I tell you what, if you don't like soldering, this is just as secure. You will not get those 2 pieces apart by pulling them. It's really, really secure. So that's the way to rivet with 2mm wire or a 2x2mm crimp tube. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you have a go.